Welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. Here for live to tape, same day coverage, show number 44. A lot of breaking news here on a Monday. We're here with no distractions, nobody down here in the bunker, and we're going to cover everything AEW Revolution and the fallout from last night's pay-per-view. And we're going to have nothing but a good time. Trust me when I tell you. It's me, it's the GOC. Follow me on all social media platforms, and we know what they are. Here on the YouTube channel, at Twitter, and that's at Big Daddy GOC. And the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. Follow me on Twitch, on Rumble. Parler will be back. Follow me on Gab, and of course on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at Big Daddy GOC, at the Guardian of Chaos. Now follow my boys over at the show, and that's at Mario_Chaos. Now, if you're not following them, to put yourself over, to get to Rub, for branding, I don't know what the hell you're doing in this industry, to be an entrepreneur or podcasting in the IWC, if you will. You have to follow the show. Now, everything here on show number 44 is going to be AEW. Now, I've gotten all the fallouts from all the streamers last night, everyone on the radio, everybody in the community, all the podcasters. It's unbelievable, the fallout that came out last night. Now, everyone is obviously talking about the Young Bucks and MJF and Jericho tag team title match, the big explanation of the ending between Moxley and Omega, an exploding match, and the so-called malfunction, and then, of course, the announcement of the big WWE, or let's say Hall of Famer, that was announced last night, signing in AEW. I don't know why everyone was disappointed, because you're all undervaluing someone, in my opinion, who's a definite Hall of Famer who will add to the AEW roster, and that's one Christian Cage. I see you, buddy. So stay here. Episode 44, show number 44. Don't you dare miss it. All right, fans, we can kick back now that the opening 2 minutes and 20 seconds that I always devote to Instagram or Twitter and different platforms where you can only put out certain amount of content or video, if you will. So that's for those folks. We're back here at home, Chaos Corner, 20 feet below the surface of the earth, down in the bunker. And because it's a Monday and it is the Fallout show, there's nobody down here in the bunker. It's just you and I and the IWC, and of course the solar energy, the Wi-Fi connection, all the memorabilia. Everything's doing pretty damn good down here today, so I'm glad that you're with me on a Monday. It's sunny outside. The temperature is going to get up to like 60, 65 this week here in the rat race known as the northeast section of the United States of America, the North America, if you will, here in the IWC. Let's get back to a little entertainment, because when I'm down here by myself and I'm not getting heckled, this is what I love to talk to. Of course, I want to give a big shout out to my boy, Mr. Hempel-Stoskin, and over at Sweet Heel CBD. Now, fans, I'm just going to keep it here and keep it simple. Locally owned, locally grown, legally licensed. Sweet Heel. Go over to sweetheel.com. Sweet Heel CBD for all your CBD needs. And, of course, my old buddy, Mr. Hempel-Stoskin. So thanks for being here. Show number 44. We've been covering a complete idiot's guide to the world of pro wrestling, but not here today. There's a lot of fallout coming over at Revolution, and we're going to jump right into it, because the one thing that everyone has been talking about and not really breaking down the card at the venue down at Daly's Place. So before we get going here, I got to put this on because we have a lot of rumors, news, and notes, and I'm going to break it down in the order of the pay-per-view. But we all know what everyone's talking about. The finish, the debacle. That's what everyone's going to remember. Everyone's bitching and moaning and complaining. Well, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of AEW Revolution, and what I noticed and what I saw by listening to everyone. I've had a night to soak it in and go over it. I went over and viewed most of it again early this morning. So I'm going to give you my take down here after we get through the opening comments, and I'll give you my view with my twist and what I saw. And then by listening to everyone last night, boy, did the internet community the social media platform community go crazy throughout the night with everything. It really was crazy what was trending last night. The big thing in the announcement that is coming out of this is that the next event for AEW is their flagship event, and that's going to be May 30th, the pay-per-view, which I guess is still going to be at Daly's place down there in Jacksonville, Double or Nothing. So I want to throw that out of there. That's the one thing that did come out of last night's Revolution. May 30th, Double or Nothing, the mothership, or I guess you want to call the flagship event of AEW. Also, the fallout, and we're going to get into it before we cover Revolution, but coming up this week on AEW Dynamite, because I'm not sure if I'll be back down in the bunker before it hits the air on Wednesday, but the few things that did come out last night that's going to go into Dynamite this week, the fallout, the different notes that I had that was coming out of here that I want to make sure that I get out to you to begin with, because once we get out to covering the pay-per-view, it's going to get lost in the shuffle. Well, the hell with it. We're lost in the shuffle anyway. I'm busier than a blow-up doll at a frat party. Let's get through the opening. I'm going to lower the distraction. Let's get right into the task at hand. Bear with me. Just a little break before we get going again. Thanks for being here. Show number 44. We're having a lot of fun. We're throwing out a lot of podcast information and content. Again, there's over 600 to 700 videos on my YouTube channel. And then, of course, if you follow me on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, I'm very social media active, and on the other accounts as well. So bear with me. A little agua viva. I got a couple of tests coming in. I'm going through the cleanse. I feel good, looking good, back into training. It is spring training leading into baseball. So, but we're here to talk AEW Revolution because it's setting everyone on fire in the IWC. So I have to bring it to you. Show number 44, live to tape. Don't go anywhere because we're going pillar to post here on the whole pay-per-view if you didn't get a chance to see it. This is fresh off the presses. And if you didn't follow anyone last night or get to the live chats or follow anyone because it was well after midnight before all this news came out, you'll get this here, and I'll get it up to YouTube and all the social media platforms before anyone hits the airwaves today. So you'll get it here first at Chaos Corner from the Guardian of Chaos. It's me. It's the GOC. Here we go. We're going to start off show number 44. I already told you about Sweet Heel. Where to follow me on social media. Let's get into the Revolution pay-per-view. Now, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly of what happened last night from my viewpoint. I'm not here to shit on anything, and I'm not here to be a shill for anything. I'm here to tell it like it is. So we open up, and I was a little surprised by that. I did see the buy-in. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. I do have thoughts on the talent. First off, Reby wasn't injured. We know Dr. Britt Baker has come a long way as far as the women's division goes. She has probably advanced the most in AEW, which we know right now the female roster leaves a little bit to be desired. We'll get into Sheeta and we'll get into the championship match as we go through Revolution here. The one thing that I did take out of it is that Thunder Rosa competed in the tag team female bout, the ladies bout, beforehand at the buy-in. And it's just a shame that Rosa is not being utilized the correct way, whether it's contract, loyalties, Tony Khan, Billy Corgan, NWA, AEW. I'm not sure what the problem is. Rosa herself, who I happen to love, and I love her work, and she seems like a great lady, and what an incredible talent she is. And she's the future of pro wrestling. So that's the only thing I'm going to get out of the buy-in there. As a matter of fact, I believe Britt Baker and Reba, because I got to be honest with you, I was distracted and doing my research and homework and doing other shows and podcasts and getting the social media information together during that. It was on in the background up at the headquarters, so I will say that. So cut me some slack. I believe Rosa lost her team, but that's another story for another time. We're almost 10 minutes in. Let's get into the review. But that was the buy-in, the ladies tag team match, which online, because I did have it online, I had it in the background, there were over 50,000 viewers on YouTube watching AEW. And we talked about on the last show on 43 where AEW Dark was on Saturday and they had a lot of viewers. I don't know how many views has it's been tabulated since then here on a Monday, but on the live chat last night and on the live YouTube, there was well over 50,000 for AEW and the buy-in leading to this. So that tells you right there, no matter what you thought of the show, good, bad, ugly, thumbs up, thumbs down from people in there, all the people bitching and complaining, don't watch it, change the channel, it's an alternative. I don't know what everyone's bitching about. Yeah, we can pick it apart, and that's what we're going to do here. So they start off with the Young Bucks and MJF and Jericho for the tag team titles. Now, I got to be honest with you. I thought, and they had advertised they were going to the tag teams for the first match, the tag team tournament, to see who will get the championship match, the scramble, the battle royal, so to speak, if you will. But they threw us a little swerve. At least I didn't know about it. So they open up Revolution with my old buddy Justin Roberts, perhaps the best ring announcer right now in the game, in the industry, in the business. So big props to Justin, because I know you're watching right now, bro. I know that for a fact, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. Trust me when I tell you, and that's from the bottom of my heart. We go back to what? When, I don't know, how old were you? Like 19, 20? AWA, World Wrestling Zone? The Rock? You're a good man, Justin Robinson. The way you roll your tongue, bro, there. Brrr. Do I have it down? I don't think so. Let's get on to it. So they open up with Young Bucks and MJF. And the things, I'm just going to give you the takeouts that I got from the match. First off, early on in the bout, MJF does the whole suck it, suck it, suck it. He must have done it about 5 or 6 times. I thought he was given a clue to the announcement later on in the pay-per-view. So he's doing that. I'm not quite sure where he got it from. It didn't go over with me. It's a ripoff. It is what it is. Some of the things that I took out of the match between the Young Bucks and MJF. First off, Nick missed a somersault attempt on Jericho. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. I talk about the high risk and the sloppiness. I did see some good things. Nick Jackson also with a diving cross body inside and outside. Both the Jacksons hit that maneuver on MJF and Jericho. So to see the double teaming, that's what I do like about the Young Bucks. And I see why people say they consider them to be the top 5 in the world today. The in-sync moves that they have from their childhood and being back to backyard wrestling to now in the big leagues, that maneuver that those two gentlemen do there, the Young Bucks, I will say, high risk. And of course, you know, they come out with the super kick party on both MJF and Jericho. And I'll say this, out of the 4 guys that were in the ring, just coming from me sitting at ringside, being a scout, being a manager, being a tactician, trying to be there for my boys, if I was managing either one of those teams, which is my expertise and my inside advice, Jericho lost a little step. Let's not give him all credit and kudos. He's 50 years old. He still looks great, but I noticed a couple of different things. And with that being said, I also noticed that the Jackson boys were a little sloppy on their moves. And I'm not here to judge or critique, but I'm giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was a solid match. It was a good match. I'm wrong on my prediction. I predicted on record. Go back to the channel. It's right there. I predicted MJF and Jericho in the inner circle to go over on this. I did predict interference, and there was, and that was by Wardlow. He did get involved, but he ended up getting hit by his own guy, by Jericho. So there were different things and different effects. I thought more of the inner circle would be involved. Both Young Bucks at one point get put in the walls of Jericho, which I guess he doesn't call it that anymore. He calls it the Lion Tamer. So I'll give him credit for the series of reversals. There were several near falls throughout the match. So to open up hot like that, I'll give AEW credit like they did on Dynamite last week, opening up with Shaq and Cody and Jade Cargill and Red Velvet. So, and they did the same concept here, I believe, with the exception of what happened in the main event. They did the same thing here to open up hot on Revolution on the pay-per-view. So to see Jericho go back to the old walls of Jericho and the Lion Tamer, I'll still give him credit, even though I know that I just got finished critiquing him. And for Jericho to hit the Judas effect on Wardlow as his interference, I called it. Go back to the last episodes. The bottom line is, And I didn't see it coming, really. I got to be honest with you, and I should have. I'm no Meltzer guy. I mean, I don't really follow Meltzer and the Torch. I respect him, been around forever. But and then they hit their version of whatever they want to call it, the Meltzer driver, and Jericho. I'll give him credit, and this is what AEW does all the time by using the rub and the veterans, and this is what AEW does better than anyone that this community bitches about, that a lot of people that watch the other product don't talk, oh, the WWE doesn't use it, the legends, this, that. This is how you do it. So give AEW, hey, listen, this was not the pay-per-view I thought it was going to be. But I will say that to say this. It was a solid show with a solid good thing, a bunch of things on it. And that's why we're going to cover the good, the bad, and the ugly. The bottom line is the Young Bucks retained the titles, which I got wrong, and I own it. With the Meltzer driver on Jericho, he doesn't let MJF take the fall. That's what you do. And the Young Bucks retain the title. Where does this leave? I do have the halls today. No distraction, no hecklers. Where does this leave MJF, Jericho, in the inner circle moving forward? I have more information as we move on through this. And we're going to go as long as I have on this. I don't care how long the show goes this time. Who views it, who doesn't, because we have a lot of things to get into. This was a long show that went on for a long time. That's why it was well after midnight Eastern Standard Time. So bear with me. Sit back, have fun, relax, watch this, rewatch it, come back to it, put it on pause, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Let's spread the word. You're going to have a lot of fun and entertainment on here in my personal viewpoint, as opposed to everybody else's all over. There's a lot of competition out there, but you get the uniqueness, and I appreciate it. So that's how they open up. Young Bucks retain the title again. We'll see where this goes with MJF and Jericho, which I have called about that. Who knows where they're going to go and how they're going to be used. Again, I keep reviewing the whole inner circle thing and MJF and Jericho, and it seems like maybe they don't know what they're doing with these guys, but that's another story for another time. So that's what happened. And give the Young Bucks credit. I will give them credit. Next, we go into the tag team order, a tag team battle royal. I'm going to try to go in order here. That's why I jumped ahead on this. And I'm going to say that to say this as well, because I tell it like it is. Bingo, before we even get on, if you go back and you're a regular listener here and you've seen what I've said in other podcasts and shows and put out on social media, I may have gotten the Young Bucks and Jericho and MJF wrong for the tag team titles at AEW for Revolution, but I certainly didn't get the tag team battle royal wrong. And what a match this was. So bear with me, because I'm as confused as a baby at Hooters. Everything that goes on here, I got to go through the notes, plus try to look at you and then still get it and relay it over. So bear with me on this one, because it was, in my opinion, a long match, but a damn good match. The only thing I didn't like, and I'll say this from the beginning, I get it with the Dark Order. I understand the Dark World Order, the Dark Order, whatever it is you want to call the faction. But for them to have as much as 6 or 8 different guys in there, 3 different tag teams in the Battle Royal, spread it around, change it up a little bit, get some more talent involved. That's the one thing that I didn't dig with the Dark World Order. I get it. There's a whole bunch of them. They've really improved and shown themselves, especially guys like Silver, who used to belong to it, or Stu Grayson, some tough son of a bitches. I get it, but really? And don't get me started on, and I'll address it now, Evil Uno was lost there in the middle of this tag team battle royal, as jumps right out, and he just like ran head first or straight first into the ring post at one point. That sounds like something Captain Lou would have done, or I would have done, or something. And it was funny when it came across on the event last night. Evil Uno in the Dark World Order just running straight ahead towards the ring post out of nowhere. We'll talk about it. The Tag Team Battle Royal. Here we go. We're going to try to get it off in order, and I'll run right through it. So don't bear with me as I just grind right through as a taskmaster. The Dark Order and QT Marshall, who I call TQ, the Natural Nightmares, and Dustin Rhodes. Give him a lot of credit, because the man could still move in there. Dustin Rhodes. I love you, Rhodes. Unbelievable. They begin. The Nightmare Factory and the Dark Order start off the Tag Team Battle Royal. From there, we go on to Santana and Ortiz, which was everybody's pick. PNP, Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, LAX, whatever the fuck you want to call them, that's on you. They're one hell of a tag team, and that's who everybody predicted. And I'm not going to tell you right now, but they certainly got the short end of the stick. I will say that. Is that a spoiler? I don't know. Here comes Santana and Ortiz as the third team in. Okay. By then, QT eliminates number 5 because in Dark Order, there's so many of them. It was number 5 and number 10 that started off the tag team battle royal against Dustin and QT. So Santana and Ortiz come in, the first one to be eliminated. Now, if one of your guys gets eliminated or one half the team gets eliminated, you're still involved as the other teammate. It's not like some of them where one gets eliminated and both team members are out. It's not like that in this match. So QT eliminates number 5. Then out come Matt and Mike Seidel, the Seidels. From there, the Dark World Order, Grayson, okay, he ends up turning in. Grayson and Uno end up coming out there, and this is the second Dark Order tag team. And this is what I'm talking about. Already, we're 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in, and 2 of them are from the Dark Order. From there, PNP, Santana, and Ortiz eliminate Mike Seidel. Mike Seidel of the Seidels becomes the first man to get eliminated in the tournament. Then we have Austin and Colton, the Gun Club. Obviously, Mr. Ass, Billy Gunn's kids come in. Now, both these kids are in great shape, and I think they're training with QT and all the guys, and maybe even Glacier Ray Lloyd down at the Nightmare Factory in Atlanta themselves. So then they come out, and you see that the lineage and the second-generation grapplers, and promptly from there, Santana and Ortiz eliminate Matt Seidel. So the first team to be eliminated are the Seidels. Remember, the first grappler eliminated was Dark World Order, or Dark Order number 5, and now the Seidels have been eliminated out of the Tag Team Battle Royal. From there, we have Peter Avalon, and I will say one thing, Caesar Bonini. He's a large individual. How do you say it? Caesar Bonini and Peter Avalon. More like, I don't know, Peter Pan. Nothing against you, Peter. I watched you as a kid. But I'll say that to say this. So we have Peter Avalon and Caesar Bonini come in. And from there, we have the Varsity Blondes, which is Brian Pillman Jr. and, of course, Griff Garrison. So you can see now the ring is filling up during the Battle Royal. Bodies are going everywhere. All the different teams are in there. At that point, Austin Gunn from the Gun Club eliminates Peter Avalon. Thank God he was out of quicker than shit through a goose. From there, QT eliminates the Gun Club and Caesar Bonini. QT comes up behind. Now listen, Austin eliminates Peter Avalon, a.k.a. the Pod Piper Pickle Puffer Pickle Peppers. Okay, from there, QT comes up behind Austin's and Colton of the Gun Club, and he dumps them both over. Okay, along with Bonini, who was trying to dump them over because they had dumped over the Peter Piper pack the pickle peppers, Peter Avalon, Caesar Bonini. So QT eliminates all 3 of them, give him credit. But then Dustin Rhodes comes up and gets into the face of QT. Now, I'm going to give QT a little bit of credit there. They start arguing in the middle of this battle royal, Dustin Rhodes, and Dustin Rhodes is like, hey, QT, what's going on? They train at the Nightmare Factory. They're down with us. And QT's like, whoa, bro. Training with us or not, we're going for the titles here. We're going for a title shot. So in other words, Dustin wasn't too happy about it. And QT jumps over the top rope and eliminates himself and then spat on the legend, Dustin Rhodes. So I don't know what's going to happen moving forward there, whether it be at the Nightmare Factory, but that was the deal there between QT and Dustin. So now QT has been eliminated, and then out comes Bear Country. Now, I'm a big fan of Bear Country. They're from the Northeast New England tri-state area, and let me tell you something from this quarter, some of the toughest son of a bitches that have ever stepped inside the wrestling ring in the history of this industry and business come from this area. So to see Bear Country, which is a Boulder Bear and Bear Bronson, I mean, it's unbelievable. 2 huge guys that have a future. I've seen them on AEW Dark. I've seen them locally. They've competed for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And now to see them in AEW. They came in and they made a huge impact. And I will say that. Bear Country comes down. And then what I did know is Bear Boulder picked up 2 different grapplers. I'm not sure if it was Grayson or who else it was. one on top of the other. This 300-pound behemoth, and he picks him up and he grabs him and he power slams and bear slams both of them. Bear Country is very, very impressive. And then they ended up eliminating Grayson. Now, Stu Grayson is one of the toughest guys in AEW, so Bear Country, for being a new young tag team, came in and they dominated briefly here in the tag team battle royal here at Revolution. Then out come Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Now, they really are pushing this tag team. They were about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, maybe even a year ago. But, man, they are pushing Jungle Boy, and you're going to see it in Luchasaurus. And Marco Stunt was out there at ringside and got involved, too, of course. Jungle Boy comes in, and he's on fire. Now, this is what I didn't like as part of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Jungle Boy eliminates Ortiz. They're really giving him the push, whether it's against FTR, now against Santana and Ortiz. I get it. The guy's a great star. He's a good-looking guy. Looks like Steve Simpson, Luke Perry's son. I get it. And he's earned it. He's earned on his own. He's a great talent. No disrespect. So he eliminates Ortiz, and then Luchasaurus, who's just a physical specimen, the dinosaur, I guess, he eliminates Bonini. Now, I thought Bonini had been released. So that couldn't have been... That couldn't have been exactly what happened here on the note. So we're going to go with that. Lucha eliminates Bonini. Lucha eliminates Griff Garrison also as well. Jungle Boy eliminates Santana. Now look, Jungle Boy eliminates Ortiz and Santana. This is what I didn't like. They're giving him a push. They're giving him a rub. I understand it. But for him to have it going on, Luchasaurus right now to Lucha Express, and Jungle Boy to have a feud with FTR and Tully Blanchard, and now they're dominating Proud and Powerful, LAX, Santana and Ortiz. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, with all due respect, should they be dominating the tag team division like this? So for have Jungle Boy eliminate both Santana and Ortiz, and I did I get confused here? QT eliminated the Gun Club and Bonini. Luchasaurus ended up getting into a physical confrontation with Bonini, so Bonini might not have been eliminated at that point. Again, I told you this was fast and furious, and you have to keep track of it. Let's get on to the task at hand. Lucha ends up eliminating, not only did Lucha eliminate Griff Garrison, Jungle Boy once again eliminates Santana. We just covered that. I digress. I'm going back to the future. I'm going back to the present. Then Luchasaurus eliminates Evil Uno. From there, the Butcher and the Blade enter at this point. And let me tell you one thing. I'm big fans of Butcher and the Blade. And, of course, they come down to ringside with Bunny. And you could see that it's all confusing and fast and furious and what happened to here to open up hot on AEW Revolution from the tag team match to the tag team battle royal. I mean, it was mass confusion and chaos, pun intended. Show number 44, live to tape, AEW Revolution, same-day coverage. From there, Butcher and Blade enter, obviously. Again, great showing in AEW, and their tag team division is stepping it up in AEW, I will say that. So Butcher and Blade, they end up eliminating, from the Dirty Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. Butcher and the Blade also eliminate the American Nightmare Dream, whatever you want to call him, Dustin Rhodes, the legend. And then we have Private Party entering the fray. So now things are getting high flying. So you've seen the people that have come in and have had impact. Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, the Butcher and the Blade, and now here comes Private Party. Right after Private Party comes in and takes everyone out with their high flying antics, here comes SCU with Kaz and Daniels. Unbelievable to have those two teams back to back. So now everybody's in the ring. They're flying all over the place. From there, Bear Country eliminated Luchasaurus. That's what I loved. That's what I wanted to bring. That's what I wanted to bring to attention. And what Bear Country did, not only did when they came in and entered this battle royal, did they clean house with unbelievable power moves, but then they eliminated one of the fastest, hottest rising young stars in Tony Khan's company, and that's Luchasaurus. So that was impressive in itself. From there, Butcher and Blade come up from behind, and again, another team I just got finished talking about who's high on Khan's list and a tag team division, and a lot of people underestimate them. Butcher and the Blade came up from behind, and they eliminated Bear Country. Unbelievable what had happened in action. Again, I'm running through it fast and furious here. Then we have the Death Triangle. Pac and Phoenix show up at the tag team ladder match. So look at what we have in here. You got Butcher and the Blade. You have Pac and Phoenix, the Death Triangle. Bear Country has just been eliminated. They eliminated Luchasaurus. You have SCU in here, Private Party. It really was unbelievable. Let's get on to the task at hand. From there, the tag team match, AEW Revolution. The Blade, and now he was on quite a roll. The bigger of the two, and Butcher and the Blade all tatted up. The Blade was the smaller of the two. The Butcher is the bigger of the two. At that time, the smaller of the two out of the Butcher and the Blade. Blade eliminates Private Party's Mark Quinn. From there, Dark Order enters, and that's, again, it's the third team. What I didn't like about it, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. What I did notice about this, Alex Reynolds did a pile driver. One of the guys that might have been Kaz onto Daniels, and it looked like he landed straight on his head, and it didn't look too safe. I've seen Alex Reynolds before. Just something about the good, the bad, and the ugly. This match was fast and furious. Even just to cover it and write notes and to watch it, and I rewatched it, you got to get some of the information correct. So Silver and Reynolds enter. From there, Dark Order eliminate Isaiah Cassidy from Private Party. Now, Private Party is out. SCU eliminates The Butcher, who had one hell of a match in this tag team match. Phoenix eliminates Christopher Daniels. From there, Jungle Boy, probably his third or fourth elimination, he eliminates Alex Reynolds. From there, Pac eliminates SCU's Kaz. Unbelievable, the action, fast and furious. This match went on well for well over half an hour. Each team entered every minute and a half, 2 minutes. From there, Pac and Silver now slug it out, and I will say one thing, both men who are slight in stature, and by that I just mean they're short, they're thick, they're stocky, they're like fire plugs. To see them two athletically slug it out in the middle of the ring. Pac and Silver are two legit guys. It goes to show you, you look the part, you act the part. They were tough. You don't have to be a monster, but you got to lay it in and make it look real, and then perform to where it is real, flat to flat. So to see Pac and Silver slug it out was unbelievable. Phoenix at that time eliminates Silver. He comes out of nowhere and walks the top rope. Phoenix, again, I say it all the time, he could be the new Rey Mysterio, maybe even with a brighter future. And I know it's a bold statement coming from an Oakley wearing one-eyed fat man. Wait. I got two eyes. I got two. Again, we're fast and furious here. From there, we're down now. I went through the different things, how Phoenix eliminated Christopher Daniels. Jungle Boy eliminated Alex Reynolds. Pac eliminates Kaz. Now we're down to the final four. It's Pac, it's Phoenix, the Death Triangle, and it's Silver, and it's Jungle Boy. That's where I said Pac and Silver slug it out. So your final four, again, really pushing Jungle Boy. Pac and Silver are slugging out. Phoenix eliminates Silver. Again, walks the top rope. There's three now. It's Pac, Phoenix, and Jungle Boy. At that point, out of nowhere, Jungle Boy, unbelievable, eliminates Pac. I didn't see it coming. And look at what they're doing with Jungle Boy. And forget about what he did with Tully Blanchard and FTR and Dasher and Harwood. And how that was a big upset, and I said it back on that episode. And then to throw out Santana and Ortiz in this match, and now to have Jungle Boy eliminate that bastard Pac here in the finals from the Death Triangle down to the finals to see who's going to go for the title shot with the Young Bucks. You see what they're doing with Perry's Kid. You see what they're doing even during the pandemic, and this is what AEW continues to do, whether it's with Orange Cassidy, and we'll cover that. And we know we're half an hour in here, and this is what we're covering. That's why I told you, you sit back and relax. Get your popcorn, your beverage. We're in the middle of the day. Check it out tonight. Let's let it soak in. AEW Revolution. And now he eliminates that bastard Pac. So we're down to three. Phoenix, Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy eliminates Pac. The final two. Phoenix, what he did, and if you didn't see it, go back and check it. A couple of things, boys at the show put on a couple of things they had saw on social media that were over at the show. Phoenix with the suicide dive, I guess you can call it a somersault that he did outside, landed on the railing and went into the crowd. And I want to say that too. The crowd was lively. It looked like they had a decent crowd down there at Jacksonville at Daly's place. So to see Phoenix do that, again, I can't believe what this guy does, Phoenix. The bottom line is a nice reversal, tosses Jungle Boy over the rope. Phoenix wins. Death Triangle. Pac comes in, and Phoenix eliminates Jungle Boy, who had one hell of a match. And Phoenix and Pac, the Death Triangle, will now face the Young Bucks for the AEW titles. This was one hell of a match. The Halls went down the wrong way. If you watch this, fans, this was fast and furious. It took about a half an hour, even just to cover it. And I hope I got it accurate. Go back, leave a comment, email me, inbox me, leave a comment here. If there's anything that I missed, I think that I got all of it on that one. It was unbelievable, and that's what we have to look for. So that's how AEW Revolution started out, with the Tag Team Championship match right into the Tag Team Battle Royal. I took a lot of notes on that one for you guys. So let's get back to the task at hand. From there, and again, it was unbelievable. And I predicted, I hope you're still here. I predicted, I'll play a little Barry Horowitz. I predicted Pac and Phoenix. And hey, I was 1 for 1 on that one. From there, they go backstage for the big show. He does a nice little vignette. He's being interviewed, maybe a 30-second, 60-second vignette. And he's talking about the new signee can outwork anyone. And I know that we already said in the opening who it was. Okay, but I'm going along with the show. So he said he can outwork anyone. Now, people are still guessing on social media. And he's talking about his new show coming up, Elevation on YouTube on Mondays with Tony Schiavone. And he's got they got a big announcement, the new signee. He can outwork anyone. So more speculation. From there, we go into the ladies' championship match, an unbelievable match. I will say, Sheeta is an unbelievable representative and champion. She is one hell of a grappler, one hell of an athlete. She did retain the title in a great match against Mitsunami. It really was two talented grapplers that put on one hell of a show. Sheeta and Mitsunomi was one heck of a match, and Sheeta retains the AEW Ladies Champion. A spinning knee into a pin by Sheeta to retain the title. It wasn't a bad match. I will say that. Again, the Japanese talent that comes over from the land of the rising sun, the Orient, if you will, konnichiwa, to all my friends over there in the Pac Rim, they really are unbelievable grapplers. And I will say that. So Sheeta is a great representative for AEW. And of course, you knew it was coming because you knew Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. The Rosa's not signed yet. And Baker, for whatever reason, have not decided to push her like they said they were going to push her. She earned it. So out comes Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. And again, it's always nice to see Vicky. And then from there, not only did Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero come out to rain on Sheeta's parade, so to speak. Then comes out Ito, who was also involved in the opening buy-in match with her singing and dancing and pop act that she does over in the land of the rising sun. So Ito comes out, Dr. Britt Baker comes out, Uribe comes out, who wasn't injured after all, and then who comes out? The one lady who should be the champion right now and should be signed, Thunder Rosa. So that's what happened in that match. It was a good match. They got everyone involved in the ladies division just about, except for Jade Cargill and Red Velvet or Ivelisse and Diamante. But everyone came out, and I hope this leads into bigger and better things, like continuing to push Dr. Britt Baker for get Thunder Rosa and keep her here in AEW. Let's bring in some talent. Let's start doing some things. It's nice to see the Japanese contingent are all well qualified and well versed. So that's what happened there in the ladies' match. Sheeta's the champion again. From there, we go backstage where you see Miro, the former Rusev, and Sabian attack Orange Cassidy and Chucky T, the best friends. So you see that backstage, and then Miro and Sabian come out. Okay, they come out with the beautiful Penelope Ford. She is easy on the eyes. Oof, I'll tell you that. It's like an apple, like a dinner roll and an apple together. I don't know. I'm just saying. So here comes Miro and Sabian. They have already pounded Orange Cassidy. Now Chuck Taylor comes out by himself. Okay, Chuck T is bloodied. It opens up 2-on-1 with Miro and Sabian just pounding into Chuck T. Different things, no Orange. Finally, maybe 5 minutes in, maybe 7 minutes in, Orange Cassidy stumbles on and finally makes his way in. This is what I took out of that match. He's given the Superman punch, but they want to call it the Orange Punch. I get it. He did the whole gimmick with, his hands in his pockets and whoa, and all the different things that he does. And I guess with a live crowd, it's over. And I'll give Orange Cassidy credit. But Miro looks tremendous. He is in tremendous shape. At one time, Orange is pushed into Penelope Ford. The diving DDT that he did from the top rope, Orange Cassidy. Again, I can understand. This is what I talk about with AEW, whether they're doing it with Darby Allin, what they've made Orange Cassidy into a star. I guess you could say the fans have. What they're doing with different people here in this company, what they're doing with Jungle Boy, they're making stars. And this is what I see other companies and the big mothership down the street here in the shadows of Titan Towers. I don't believe they're doing that. I don't believe they're making stars. You can shit on this all day and say it was sloppy, and we'll get on to the ending, but they're making stars. And that's what I took out of that. The bottom line is Miro dominated this match. Orange Cassidy had some unbelievable moves, especially the diving DDT off the top. But Miro gets Chucky T, and I don't know what he calls it, Rusev Miro, whatever he calls it, but it's basically what the Iron Sheik did in a camel clutch, and Chucky T tapped. So that's what happened there. Miro and Sabian go over here. Let's hope this story goes away and they start using Miro in a different way. That's what I took out of that. Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Miro and Kip Sabian. So let's move on from there. From there, we see Alex Marvez, and he seems to be everywhere. He pops up at the most inopportune, or is it, I don't know, in his point, opportune times. So he's with Jericho and MJF, and they're with Santana and Ortiz. And obviously they lost earlier in the night to the Young Bucks. And they're announcing, MJF actually, so now Jericho's acting hot and pissed like he usually does. And Santana and Ortiz are off in the back again. Guevara's out. Who knows where Jake Hager is? Wardlow was not there. He was not in this vignette backstage with Marvez in the inner circle. At least I didn't see him. I wasn't there. I didn't have boots on the ground at this event. So Jericho's going off about what's going to happen. Things need to change. MJF steps in and says, yeah, it's time for a change. And coming up this Wednesday night, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, again, they're none too happy as the inner circle. Again, it's not working out. They lose to the Young Bucks tonight, Jericho and MJF. They're having an inner circle war council. Inner circle war council on Wednesday. They've already had the dinner and the meeting, the vaudevillian act. They've already did the hangover, went out to Vegas. They've already fought each other. They've lost different members. They've wrestled all over Jacksonville Stadium. Try to go for titles, and Wardlow, Hager, this, that. You lose tonight, last night at Revolution, and now it's an inner circle war council on Wednesday with everyone. I see changes coming. Again, I alluded to it earlier, and for MJF, in his classic, kind of like how Chaos does it when he's watching talent and scouting, sitting ringside. Time for a change. We heading forward to after that. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. Marvez is always somewhere. We'll see. Next comes up is the big money Matt Hardy in the big money match against Hangman Page. And I will say, the horse and the cowboy and the wildness lone wolf walking off into the sunset. I like Hangman Page. And again, how could you not like Matt Hardy? I do like Page. I'm not sure how they're using this storyline, but it's entertaining. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Revolution here. And this is what I saw, and this is what I'm breaking it down. It is what it is. It starts off hot. Hardy's biting. He's biting Page. He's clubbing and stomping. It's all Matt Hardy to begin with here in the Big Money match. And again, it's for the first quarter earnings here. Their paychecks. That's what it's for. A twist of fate outside by Hardy on Page looked unbelievable. A nice cross body by Page. I'll give Hangman, although he really Hardy really did take it to him. Different moves that I saw. Of course, one of his signature moves, a beautiful sit-out power bomb by Matt Hardy on Page. This was a physical match. Say what you want about Hardy. We know Page is physical. This was snug. Again, the cross body by Page was textbook. A beautiful moonsault outside the ring by Page. And again, I say this is what this generation's about. You wouldn't see this in the 70s and the 80s, so you got to respect it, even in the 90s. And you see what these guys do. It's unbelievable. A very physical match, and the different high-risk maneuvers that you see here in AEW, and whether you're a veteran or new. So Page and Hardy really put on one heck of a show. This is my opinion. It was a little slow at times. The crowd was a little, but it was a good physical match. At one point, Private Party is out there to distract the ref, and this is what I don't like. And this is the bad, the ugly, whatever, different parts of AEW where there's always interference, or the ref's not doing their job, or no one's following the rules, or there are no rules. And these are the different things that I don't like about AEW. Okay, Hardy at one time hits the side effect, turns it into a twist of fate, but Page kicks out. And now Dark Order comes out, and there's more interference, and they clear out Private Party. And unbelievable, again, his signature move. I love this move. A buckshot lariat by Page out of nowhere for the pin. And listen, that's it. That was it. All the interference. They finally got a clean win. I don't know what this means for Matt Hardy, but Hangman Page and that buckshot lariat. That's it. Matt Hardy was done, and it's nice to see an older guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer, and Matt Hardy, okay, who's got to be pushing 50 years old, late 40s. Here's a guy that's given the rub to someone who's a great talent, a younger talent, and that would be Hangman Page. So to have all the different interference and the different things that I took out of it, I'm not happy, but it wasn't a bad match here. So Hangman Adam Page, I guess he's going to give up the money. Who knows where that leaves Matt Hardy? I don't know what they're going to do with him. Who knows what he's going to do with Private Party? But he lost the money. We come up after that, the brass ring and the ladder match for the shot at Darby Allin's TNT title. There's 6 men. They haven't announced the 6th man yet. The ladder match, I will say, another match, like, again, I feel like the whole night, a lot of people pissing and shitting on this. I feel like the whole night was really entertaining for what it was. People will remember the finish, and they'll remember what they don't like. But there was a lot of good and a lot of entertainment that came out of AEW, and it's what you want. And there were a lot of things that didn't work, and I understand it. But they put on, the boys and girls worked hard. You can't deny that. And I enjoyed myself. And a lot of people were giving this out of a 10, 0 to 10 people are giving it a 4, a 5. Some people stretching it at a 6. And I wouldn't say it was an 8 or a 9, but I'll give it a solid. We'll give it a 6, 7. Certain parts were an 8, maybe a 9. Other parts were maybe a 4 or a 5. I mean, it's all on the person, the individual, and your take. That's why you're here. The ladder match. Here we go. I'm going to give you who the 6th person is, and then we're going to break it down just like we did in the Tag Team Battle Royal, just like we did in the tag team match. A lot of action, a lot of things that happened. So I'm going to try to keep track and put it out there and keep this so we don't go on, I don't know, for 2 hours. But I appreciate you being here. Show number 44, live to tape, same day coverage, Chaos Corner. It's me. It's the GOC. Nice, no heckling. Things are good here. So here we go. Here's the 6 men for the ladder match. Again, a shot at the TNT title. It's Penta, Cody Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, the Murder Hawk Monster Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts, Platinum Max Caster, and here's the 6th man that showed up for the ladder match. All ego, Ethan Page. Nobody saw it coming. A good addition to the roster. AEW coming out of tonight, I think, only got stronger. If you look at who they added and what they added, and people want to say, Tony Khan's playing with toys. Tony Khan's getting all the rejects. Tony Khan's getting all the people that just are retired legends, people that he likes, that he wants to see that wrestles. You're wrong. I think you're wrong about that. And even if it is that way, so what? Enjoy it. Appreciate the product. Appreciate the people that are working to break their ass to fucking entertain you. How about that? How about that? How's that sound? Sounds good to me. I digress. I don't want to get on my soapbox here. Remember, I tell it like it is. So here we go. All ego, Ethan Page, and for whatever reason, throughout the night, a sidebar here. I don't know why the guy from HY2 Hybrid 2. I don't know. Is he tag team with Angelico or Jack Evans? What was the angle with Jack Evans last night? You know, we're 50 minutes in here. We're going well over an hour. Why Jack Evans? And why did he interfere 2 or 3 times throughout the night? Where are they going with that? And could JR say tough as a $2 steak anymore? Mark this at 50 minutes in Chaos Quarter, show number 44. Can good old JR, and I love you, JR, you still could hit the fastball, I believe. Tough as a $2 steak. Really? Can you say it maybe twice? Don't be like me and be redundant. That's why you're the star. Tough as a $2 steak. Anyway, I digress here. And I know I keep saying that too, but bear with me. We're having a lot of fun here. Thanks for being here, fans. So here we go. Scorpio bites Penta on the ladder. Okay? Page and Caster battling out on the ladder. That's all ego, Ethan Page. At one point, Cody gets injured. My internet went out at one point, so I missed some of it. But hold on here. Cody gets injured at one point. They really sell it, but it's the same thing they always do with Cody Rhodes. It looks like he's down and out. Maybe he's injured. They're trying to sell it. They're trying to fool the marks and the fans and all you people out there in the dirt sheets. You knew he was coming back into the match. They're over there with Arn and the refs and the docs are in the tunnel way, and he's looking like he's injured, and the people are out there, and I see it on social media and what everybody's doing out there and talking about it, and realize, don't you get that it's a work, baby? Anyway. So Scorpio and Penta battle it out on the ladder. Ethan Page and Max Caster on the ladder. Again, Caster's a future star. Scorpio slams Caster on the ladder at one point. A frog splash off the top rope by Scorpio Sky was unbelievable. How these guys take the punishment. I would never do it. Well, maybe once I would do it. Maybe twice. I don't know. Back then, what these guys do, and I don't understand it. Scorpio Sky, Max Caster, all ego, Ethan Page, what they were doing in this ladder match last night. And I'm just going right through it here because I'm trying to save time. A crazy spot, too, with Archer when he threw Scorpio outside on the ladder, outside of the ring. The different things and the risks that these guys took in that match and the different things that I noticed. Back to even Penta and Page on top of the ladder. You know, Cody, like I said, ends up coming back and he comes back with the belt and he's whipping the new addition Ethan Page to the roster. So all the guys from Penta to Lance Archer, who was doing unbelievable things, and Scorpio too, what an athlete, and Caster to be such a young guy and add to this match of guys. It really was the athletic performance, and I didn't see a whole lot of sloppiness in this. I saw a lot of danger and high risk in this move, in this match with these 6 gentlemen for the TNT title, and the risk that these guys take. I don't like it for longevity for these guys, and to see Lance Archer at his size, I'm not even sure if he belongs in this match. I like seeing Jake the Snake at ringside, though. Again, if you use the legends the right way, he's not throwing the snake on me or giving me the short clothesline. So I like seeing Jake there. It really was something. So from there we go into the ladder match here. Cody, we knew it. He comes back. He stomps Ethan Page, like I told you. He whips him with the belt. Cody and Archer on the ladder is unbelievable. The suplex from the top with those two, from the top rope and top of the ladder between Cody Rhodes. Again, Cody at his age and what he's doing and taking the risk and what Archer does for such a large man. I cannot believe the moves that I saw last night at Revolution, and that's why I don't understand why everyone is so unhappy with the pay-per-view. Max Caster with a flying elbow on Cody off the ladder was also another move that stuck out. Lance Archer does his typical, and this is where he's the murder hawk monster, and this is the way they should be using this guy and booking this guy. He choke slams every one of the stars and the athletes in the match, and it really is unbelievable. Makes him look strong. That's what you want to do with Lance Archer. That's the way I use him, and that's the way I book him. At one point, Archer climbs the ladder and Ethan Page stops him. Archer power bombs Max Caster on the ladder. A super kick by Penta on Jake the Snake Roberts. I cannot believe it. Just before that, Jake out of nowhere, a short clothesline on All Ego Ethan Page. It really was unbelievable. I don't know what the fuck Jake is doing in there at that age. You did some DDP yoga and just get in the ring with these incredible athletes. What are you doing, Jake? But anyway, you give him credit in a nice short clothesline. But then, of course, you're in there and you want to play with fire. Penta with the super kick on Jake was really unbelievable. Penta's up to the top. Cody out of nowhere with a reverse neck breaker from the second rope. Penta hits Cody with a chair on the ladder. Scorpio Sky hits Penta with the chair. They're going back and forth. They're on the ladder. Cody and Scorpio Sky climb the ladder. They're slugging it out. Scorpio Sky out of nowhere pushes Cody off. And guess what? I never saw this one coming either. Maybe some of you people did. There we go. Scorpio Sky gets to the ring, which looks like a donut for somebody that's, I don't know, maybe if Andre the Giant had hemorrhoids or something like that. That's what it looked like. Or maybe King Kong or Godzilla has the donut after you have hemorrhoid surgery or your asshole hurt. I'm just saying. I swore a couple of times. I'll put it in the tip jar later on for the college fund. But an unbelievable match. Just like I said, a lot of people bitching and complaining. I didn't see this coming. Scorpio Sky pushes Cody off. They're the final ones there. The match was all over the place. At one point, everybody's laid out. Nobody's in the ring. Then everybody's in the ring. But give guys like, listen, Penta, Ethan Page, Max Caster, Cody Rhodes, what they did, Scorpio Sky, what these guys did in this match was unbelievable in the high risk. The bottom line is Scorpio Sky beats Cody Rhodes, and I'll give Cody credit as the owner. You got to be careful as one of the guys in the front office. People accuse you of being like Dusty and putting yourself over and writing yourself in the script. So give Cody Rhodes credit. Scorpio Sky gets a much-needed chance, and he will face in a match that will be unbelievable for the TNT title against Darby Allin. I mean, think of the risk involved in that match. So I believe I got everything correct. Again, correct me if you want. Hit the thumbs up, the thumbs down. I appreciate it. What an unbelievable match. And from there, and I just want to get on my soapbox here before we're an hour in. Here comes the signing. I guess they could have presented it in a different way. Maybe had Big Show come in first. Maybe have somebody in the ring. Maybe do it in different order in the pay-per-view and how you did it. But the bottom line is, out comes Christian Cage by himself. I didn't like that part of it. They could have presented him in a better way. And he signs the contract. And he reveals the shirt. Outwork anybody. Christian Cage, former NWA champion, multi-time WWE Tag Team champion, Edge's partner, was just in the WWE, comes out. And I don't care what anyone says. You were all expecting. I even said maybe Kurt Angle. People were saying Brock Lesnar, CM Punk. I get it. If you didn't get one of those guys like Punk or Lesnar, then you're disappointed. I understand that. And it would have made total sense. It would have blown thing out. But look at what Tony Khan's done in the last couple of weeks. He brought in the Big Show. He brought in Christian now. He brought in All Ego Ethan Page, who can have an immediate impact on the roster. Christian, okay, he's in his late 40s, but he's in great shape. You can get a nice run out of him. He could put over some of the other guys if you use him as far as the way they're using their talent. Christian Cage, don't undercut this guy's a class professional, well-trained, one tough son of a bitch, and a Hall of Famer in my eyes. I've had the chance to be on maybe 3 different events in the same locker room with Christian Cage when he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And let me tell you something. Christian Cage, not only was he an incredible athlete in great shape, a guy who still keeps himself in incredible shape, He let me pick his brain, talk to me, treated like a different person, agreed to let me manage him in the future, whether it worked out, didn't work out, and gave me his time. And as a guy who's dedicated to the craft, and if you don't think that he's a great addition or he's not what you wanted in the IWC or AEW, and I will admit that we'll see how they use him. And you got your head up your ass. And if you don't like that, change the fucking channel. That's just the way I see it. And again, I apologize for the curses on this episode, but I'm heated and passionate and giving to you what I saw on the internet last night and leading into this and the fallout and what's going to happen this Wednesday. So that's what it was. Unbelievable. And now we go into the beat. So Christian Cage, my peeps, listen, I think it's a great addition. It's not what I thought either. Everyone's a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed, but don't undersell this guy. Okay, so you think he was a main mid-level, this, that. It gave him his moment in the sun with Edge, and I'll perseverate on that a little bit. It's a great addition to the roster, and you're going to see good things coming out of Christian. I applaud it. They'll use him the right way. So you got Taz, Excalibur, JR, and Shivani in the booth. So you know what's coming up next. And it's something that, again, I don't know how a lot of people thought about it, but I kind of liked it. It was the most insane cinematic thing, as good as the Boneyard match with AJ Styles and as good as what they did with The Undertaker. I found it to be very entertaining for what it was. It wasn't in-ring. It wasn't traditional. It was telling a story. Think of it that way, as a mini movie, a documentary, but the street fight between Darby Allin and Sting against Team Taz with Starks and Cage, to me, I found it highly enjoyable, and some of the things they pulled off, cinematic-wise, stuntman-wise, or whether you're watching a movie like Jackass or The Replaceables or something like that, really was incredible. I enjoyed it for what it was. Say what you want. It's just my opinion. We opened with Starks and Cage in a parking lot in a beautiful sports car. They enter an undisclosed location because that's what's happening. It's in a warehouse in an old ring. You know it's going to be a cinematic match. All the rumors have been leaked out before. It is what it is. Their first attempt at it, and given it a shot, what WWE is, I think they hit it out of the park as entertainment. Remember where I'm coming from. It's an entertainment pro wrestling variety channel. Remember what it's all about. Take it for what it's worth. Appreciate it. Darby's army of hoodlums enters the warehouse, and where there's an old ring, like watching an old movie, a wrestling ring, whether it really was something cinematic, I'll say that. Darby skateboards towards the warehouse. Sting's driving an old pickup truck from back in the day as the army of hoodlums arrives at the warehouse. Darby hitches on to the back of the truck like Michael J. Fox did in Back to the Future with his skateboard. Pretty impressive. All four now enter the building in the warehouse, and they're all in the ring. Remember, it's in a movie, documentary type, cinematic type thing, and different, smoke and dirty and dingy, if you can picture it in your eyes. Really is something. Now, all four are in the ring. Cage, Starks, Darby and Sting, surrounded by the army of hoodlums. Cage goes crazy as the big monster that he is himself, and he beats all the hoodlums. They punish Darby all over the warehouse to begin with. Cage really, truly is a monster, and maybe they're using him in the right way, because I don't think he's been used the right way in AEW with Team Taz. That's just my opinion, and no disrespect, but I'm telling it like it is. Cage looks tremendous. Some of the moves he pulls off in there, and if you see it on social media, it really is unbelievable. So they punish Darby, who takes a beating all over the warehouse. You figured that with Sting being in his 60s, but Sting looks tremendous and holds himself up well. And I will say they made Sting look tremendous, better than they made The Undertaker look in the Boneyard match. Just my opinion. Stark and Sting are in the ring. Okay, really is unbelievable. Nice exchange. I'll give Ricky Starks for a new talent. An unbelievable guy in the future, and his business is bright. It really is something. Ricky Starks, a future star, a future champion. He's going to be around for a while if he stays healthy. You knew that Hobbs was going to show up, Team Taz, and you knew that at one point. Again, AEW. Again, I say the interference all the time, different things that they're doing. I don't necessarily like that as the good, the bad, and the ugly here on AEW Revolution. At one point, they toss Darby through a window. It's really unbelievable and cinematic. Cage is walking up a flight of stairs with Darby in a vertical suplex position. If you see it, you're not going to believe it. It really is unbelievable. Again, Hobbs has interfered a couple of different times. I'm not crazy about that. Sting and Starks are really holding their own. And again, Sting really impressed me. Darby does an elbow drop out of nowhere. I didn't see this coming from like 3 or 4 floors up. Listen, I get it. It's stuntman movies, cinematic clips, editing. You can do anything. You can make me look like I'm jumping 3 floors. But they did a good job with this, and I gotta say, I was highly entertained, and I didn't leave the tube when that was on. I'm just being honest. This is just my viewpoint. It really was something. And Sting at 60 years old, 61 years old, the punishment that he could take, unbelievable. I just say I can't say enough about this match. I was entertained by it. I really was. All 4 guys put in a hell of an effort. The bottom line is Sting and Darby Allin win. Sting pinged Ricky Starks. It really was, for what it was, a highly entertaining watch. I found it to be entertaining. AEW with this part of the pay-per-view, I believe did a very, very, very good job. Just my opinion. So Sting and Darby win. Sting pins Ricky Starks, and Team Taz flush down the toilets. Here we go. From there, again, it really was an incredible match. From there, we go to... they talk about Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, this week, as I go through my notes before we get into the main event. We're an hour and 5 minutes in, show number 44, same day coverage, live to tape here on a Monday, the Fallout show from AEW Revolution and Chaos Corner with the Guardian of Chaos. This week coming up Wednesday, I already told you certain things that were happening before we get into the main event here at Chaos Corner. And hopefully I get this information correct, because it's all over the place. And if you're not paying attention and go back and view and get your notes right, sometimes it gets lost in translation. No, and I didn't really like that movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. It was a snoozer. We're going to start doing that here too, movie reviews with the Guardian of Chaos. So coming up this week on AEW Dynamite, the Young Bucks versus Phoenix. Matt Jackson and Ray Phoenix in a one-on-one matchup before we lead into when they have the Tag Team Championship. If you sit there and think about it, Matt Jackson, who's been a little sloppy lately, in my opinion, just my opinion, and Phoenix, who I think is the new Rey Mysterio, that's going to be one hell of a solo matchup. We have the Inner Circle War Council. I told you about that. Who knows what's going to happen? They can drop anything with MJF and Jericho. We already know that. And for the TNT title, this is going to be one hell of a match. Darby Allin and Scorpio Sky. That's what you have coming up Wednesday, along with whatever's going to be from the Fallout show. I'm the Fallout before you get to the Fallout here at the Bunker in Chaos Corner. So now, you know, they go to the promo with the legendary death match and the legendary competitors from Japan. So they go to a promo with Onita, who gives an unbelievable promo, who's an unbelievable guy and a Japanese wrestler. And I love that culture and style of wrestling. So we hear from Onita. We have a 30-minute time limit on this match. The ring explodes after that. Okay, let me get through it before you leave your comments on what's going to happen here. We're well over an hour. Stick with me, though. Don't go anywhere. Omega and Moxley for the AEW Championship. Exploding barbed wire death match. I already gave you the particulars. The referee's wearing what he looks like is a chemical suit. There's barbed wire everywhere and tables. Entrance side where the wrestlers come in throughout the night is the only side that had no barbed wire. There were barbed wire boards in 2 different corners. Barbed wire landmines outside the ring, barbed wire baseball bats, trash cans with barbed wire, kendo sticks, 2x4s wrapped in barbed wire, chairs wrapped in barbed wire. You get the gist Both men worked hard, they sold, and their facial expressions were unbelievable. Let me start off with the good, the bad, and the ugly of the main event at AEW Revolution between Omega and Moxley. And of course, Don Callis is in the booth on this one with good old JR, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone. Here we go. This is what I took out of it in different things. Stay with me, bear with me. Show number 44. We're going to go fast and furious through this. We're an hour and 8 minutes in, and I greatly appreciate it. What a match last night. There was a lot of good in this match, and before it went bad, in my opinion. And of course, the ending will be legendary forever. Doesn't mean you give up on the product. It just doesn't. So take the good with the ugly. We know what the ugly was. The ending. It didn't explode. It didn't go off. People say it looked like Gilbert as opposed to Goldberg. I worked with Gilbert. Well, and I didn't work with Goldberg. Oh, maybe it's true, but get over yourself. Enjoy it for what it's worth. Yeah, so don't make up for it. Yeah, the ending was the shits. You can't win with technology or with pyrotechnics. I say it all the time. Let's get into the match. This is what I came out of it. Omega throws powder in the eyes of Moxley. Okay, this is the first explosion in the exploding barbed wire match. I'll try to keep track of the different explosions and how many times it actually exploded during the match, seeing that there was no explosion at the end of the exploding barbed wire death match. There were explosions in between that before we got to the end of the fizzle and the sparklers on the 4th of July in March. You see what I did there? This is my notes that I come out of the main event. Omega, so that's the first explosion. Okay, Mox is the first one to get nipped by the zap, the explosion, the smoke, whatever it is you want to call it. He's the first one as Omega comes out of nowhere. Because to begin with, they're going back and forth. Actually, some good grappling, some good maneuvers, a role reversal, back and forth between Omega and Moxley. And then out of nowhere, Omega comes up with the powder, a la Mr. Fuji back in the day and Professor Toru Tanaka. Omega throws the powder into the eyes of Moxley, who can't see. There's the first explosion into the barbed wire. Omega with a leg drop on Moxley onto the trash can, which busts Moxley open early in the match. He was a crimson mask. He really did be busted open. Listen, if you see the results of it, I don't think he got busted open the hard way, but he was busted open for sure. From there we go, Moxley with a chair and a barbed wire, wrapped in barbed wire across Omega's legs out of nowhere. Finally, Moxley, after getting pounded, listen, Omega started off hot. He pounded Moxley to begin with in the first several minutes of this match. And that's how he gets busted open. He takes the first explosion. At this point, he finally is able to get Omega with the chair. Moxley then gets reversal, and now Omega throws Moxley into the board, and he comes with what Don Callis calls the barbed wire halo. Unbelievable. Moxley with Omega pummeling Moxley, goes for a toe hold. Moxley reverses, and boom, Omega into the ropes. And here's the first explosion, face first Omega. So now we got two explosions in the match, one by Moxley, one by Omega. They both go into the ropes and explode, and the smoke, and listen, whatever pyrotechnics they used, it didn't look that bad at that point. It's different to North America. It's different to this country. They made it a little different. They had things to deal with a live crowd, talent ringside, who I would have moved back or got out of the way. Restrictions inside, outside, Daly's Place, Jacksonville. Who knows? I get it. I understand. So now we have an explosion on each different grappler. Okay? Here we go. Mox drop kicks Omega for the second explosion. Remember now, Omega went in face first, according to the video. Moxley now making a comeback in the match after being pummeled by Omega. Moxley drop kicks Omega, beautiful drop kick for the second explosion right now. Now it's a second explosion on Omega. 3 explosions so far in the exploding death match. Mox reverse slams Omega into the barbed wire board. A little bit of a botch, maybe. They said he tried to block it. What's going on with the lighting? See what happens when I don't have any... We still here with the lighting? Back to the task at hand. I'm not sure it looked like Omega didn't land correctly. They said they tried to cover it up, that he tried to block it. Tough physical match again, the longevity. That's what I saw. He went to block it. Mox with a side slam and Omega onto the barbed wire chair. Another dangerous, unbelievable bout. Mox wraps the barbed wire around, kind of like I've done with the chains in the past. Wraps it around his arm. Omega out of nowhere hits a multiple snapdragon suplexes on Moxley. How he takes that. And if you don't land the right way, and if you don't tuck your neck, and if you don't land on the flat, I don't know what to tell you. But that's what I saw in that match. And up until this point, the match is highly entertaining and very, very physical. Oh, from there, Mox, I told you, he wraps it in the barbed wire. Omega hits the snapdragon suplexes. Mox goes for a paradigm shift, but it's blocked into an explosion. Here's explosion number 2 for Moxley. So here we go. If I'm not mistaken, stay with me, bear with me, rewind it, go through it. First explosion was Moxley. Second explosion was Omega. The second explosion for Omega came in earlier in the match. That's 3 total explosions. I know. You're getting ready to explode yourself. I get it. So now here's the second explosion onto Moxley. So all in total, and now both guys are out in the ring apron. I believe all in total, we have 4 explosions at this point so far after Mox and the paradigm shift blocked into an explosion. I'm getting ready to explode right now, as I'm saying. More explosions here at Chaos Corner than in the death match. So we're up to 4 thus far. Okay, 2 on each grappler. Now, both guys are on the ring apron. This is where it gets a little hairy, a little dangerous, and again, unbelievable. Okay, Mox goes for a paradigm shift on Omega. Both men are off the apron. They fall onto the floor where the exploding landmines have been labeled. Both men go through the wire into the boards, and here we go, explosion number 5. Kind of like when Gorilla Monsoon said Excedrin headache number 5. So here we have it, 5 different explosions in this match thus far. Not that bad, nothing too crazy. The guys really sold it. Very dangerous match. They did what they could, not making excuses, telling you the good, the bad, the ugly, because I tell it like it is. So now we're up to the 5th explosion. That's what we see. From there, we finally get back into the ring after both gentlemen take that off the ring apron. Unbelievable. 10 minutes left is the announcement now coming from Shivani. Remember, 30-minute time limit until the ring explodes, if you're doing your homework. 10 minutes left now here. So they're battling in this kind of environment for 20 minutes through barbed wire and exploding and trying to get the outcome. And with the referee, give these guys some fucking credit in how they worked and enjoy the entertainment instead of pissing on everything. I don't understand you fans and you marks and you insiders on the dirt sheets. I don't understand where the fuck you're coming from. I really don't. Am I up to like $125, $150 with the swearing? I apologize for that. I'm more professional than that. But I see a lot of people, listen, appreciate the product and the talent and what's going on. I get a little heated. I am the guardian of chaos. So from there, we're 10 minutes in. Omega hits the one-wing angel on Moxley. But you know what Mox does? To save himself from being pinned, what a brilliant maneuver, and he sacrificed himself. Something I would tell one of my talents what to do. He puts his leg on the bottom of the ropes. Boom! Another explosion. Here's the 6th explosion in the exploding death match. Unbelievable. Again, it didn't look that bad at that point. A little smoke, a little electric shock. It's not a big deal. I've been in barbed wire matches before. I've been zapped. I mean, it's okay. Thumbtacks and baseball bats and trash cans with what's the big deal? I digress. How many times do you think I've said that? If we had a drinking game for every time I said that, you'd probably be buzzed right now. Let me get back. So there's the 6th explosion in the match. 3 on Moxley, 2 on Omega, and 1 together for 6 different explosions that I counted. Talk about paying attention and doing your research and your homework. That's why you come here to Chaos Corner. After that, again, Moxwood is on the ropes. Explosion number 6, we said that. Then out of nowhere, the Good Brothers enter. Again, I called it. I predicted it. This is what it was. The Good Brothers come out of nowhere, and there's more interference. Then enter Omega. exploding number 7 because he went to hit Moxley with a barbed wire baseball bat. This was the big surprise Don Callis was talking about. He hits Moxley in the side of the head with the bat. Not only was it barbed wire baseball, it exploded. The electric shock. Now, fans, you know it's a work, but there's a degree of reality to it, like a stunt man. You'll never see anything like it in your life, and I guarantee it. Unbelievable. I don't know why there had to be interference at this time by the Good Brothers. I don't know why Anderson and Gallows had to be involved here. I don't like this part about it. This is the part of the bad, the ugly that I don't like in AEW. Every match has a run in. There's always an interruption. It works and sells in storytelling in certain times and certain venues for certain storylines, but when you do it for every match, it loses its effectiveness. It's like everyone using the same move or wearing the same gimmick or being the same guy instead of being different and finding a niche no matter how it is to put yourself over. I don't like it. I'm just telling you my opinion. That's why you're watching me. So again, the Good Brothers, they didn't have to enter. That's what I see. So they come in exploding. Now number 7 explosions in the match. Here we go. Here's the finish. After the interference, after the explosion with the barbed wire baseball bat, Gallows and Anderson, again, no disqualification, I guess, whatever, anything goes. I don't like the finish. He hits Moxley with the one-winged angel, the pin, 1, 2, 3. It's over. Kenny Omega retains the AEW Heavyweight Championship. Kind of, listen, a crazy match. They worked hard. They went on for a while. Very high risk, dangerous, blood, barbed wire. You don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. There's no dry run. They took their chances. They maybe oversold it. They maybe oversold the talent, oversold who they were bringing in, oversold this match, the exploding part of it. But they made the attempt. They put it out there for entertainment, for the fans, for the people, and because of what they love and what they do. And that's good enough for me as a consumer. That's the way I see it. And a guy that was in the business, that trained and lived to do this. If you don't see it, I don't know what you're watching. You could shit on it. You could critique it. You can give your opinion. That's all well and good. But appreciate what they've done and appreciate the product. Respect it. Just like you do anything else. And it's good to have opinions. It's a beautiful thing. So from there, again, I didn't like the interference. I believe I covered everything. Now, all of a sudden, Gallows, Anderson, and Omega handcuff Moxley. They're counting down Shivani now. There's only a couple of minutes before the ring explodes. Remember the whole 30-minute exploding ring. So they handcuff him, and Anderson and Gallows and Omega are going to leave Moxley in the ring for it to explode. So that's how we're getting ready to end off here. Out of nowhere comes Eddie Kingston and several other grapplers, maybe the Butcher and the Blade. They're backstage. Gallows and Anderson, Omega beat feet. Here comes Eddie Kingston fighting his way in. He jumps in. There's less than 30 seconds, a minute, whatever. He covers Moxley, who's handcuffed and basically unconscious in the ring. And the camera and everybody's counting and everyone's expecting. And now the 30 minutes is up and they think there's going to be an explosion. You can see Eddie and he's covering Moxley and he's down. And he's like this and he's covering his brother and the whole storyline. He came to save him. And nothing. A few fizzlers. The pyrotechnics didn't work. They didn't set it up right. I don't know what happened, the timing, but it went off the air like that. After the Good Brothers and all the violence, and they interfered, and Omega hitting the one-winged angel and all the blood and the 7 different explosions and how they pushed and pumped this up, and Omega retains the AEW title. They handcuff Mox. Unbelievable, the match itself and several different things that happened, in my opinion. Kingston comes out. They're going to push their storyline, their storytelling, psychology. I get it. Setting up for... I get it. It didn't work. It didn't sell. And now you fans out there are going to remember the ending, just like a lot of other people in history. They'll remember the ending of AEW, the exploding barbed wire death match that didn't explode. I get it. It was embarrassing. It looked, however it looked, carny, whatever you want to think that it looked. But the overall show, in my opinion, and now I'll give Moxley credit, because afterward Mox said, hey, listen, you can't make an exploding ring worth of shit. He said that after the show live to the fans at Jacksonville at Daly's Place about Kenny Omega. So at least they acknowledged it. They fucked up. They screwed up. It didn't work. The pyrotechnic, Tony Khan, they made it into something, and So before everyone, I listened to a lot of different things late last night and early this morning, and then reviewed it again myself and took my notes to come here to present it to you how I was going to present it. And I'll be honest, 6 or 7 maybe. It wasn't their best, but they certainly put a lot of hype and stuff into it. And the guys and the girls worked hard. And there were a lot of good that came out of it. And there was some bad, and there certainly was some ugly because they fucked up at the end. The boys didn't. The product didn't. The way it happened, from the pyrotechnics and the setup and whatever happened, did. Now, did Tony Khan and the whole company and oversell the talent? I don't really believe so. Good additions with Big Show and Christian and Ethan Page, and who knows what's going to happen moving forward. I don't think they did. Did they oversell this death match, exploding death match? Maybe. And you can't Monday morning quarterback it now, although we are, right? It didn't work. The match itself worked. The ending didn't. I didn't like a lot of the run-ins. I'll sit here, I'll review the show for you. I guess we're going to make it a solid hour and a half. We're at an hour and 24 minutes right now for Chaos Corner, show number 44, covering AEW Revolution, the pay-per-view, here on a Monday with your old buddy. So, different things that I took out of it. And again, fans, remember the show for what it's worth. I think Darby and Sting against Starks and Cage, for what it was highly entertaining. Sheeta is a solid female grappler. She represents the company well. The Young Bucks against MJF and Jericho. I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the match. I will say the tag team battle royal was pretty impressive, although chaotic. It was great to see a lot of the different teams in there, and I found that to be highly entertaining. Miro, Sabian, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor. Not really for me, but again, Miro looks great. I'd use him in a different way. Again, like I said, the street fight I think was better than the Boneyard match. I don't like a lot of the interferences. We talked about that. The ladder match was very interesting. I didn't see Scorpio Sky winning that. I predicted the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer. So to see Scorpio Sky, and again, this Wednesday going against Darby Allin, that's going to be one hell of a match. And who knows who comes out of that match alive. Because incredible athletes and high flyers and risk takers. But Max Caster represented himself well. You know, the connection that I know of. I think Christian Cage was a great signing. We'll see how they do. Let's not jump all over it now. For all you people that expected CM Punk or Brock Lesnar, I get if you didn't get one of them, it was a failure. But really, come on. There was a very slim chance one of those guys were showing up. Let it continue to build. It's a 1.5-year company. Lighten up. Really? Big Show, let's see where it goes. He adds credibility to it. He does add to the roster. We'll see what happens. Let's not jump off the bridge and get crazy and take a Brody a la Bugs Bunny off the Brooklyn Bridge. Wait. I don't think they've canceled cultured Bugs Bunny yet, have they? No, that's another story for another time. Different things, other things as we're here. Again, I'm going to try to make it to an hour and a half. We might as well. Things that I liked and things that are going to stick out to me. Again, I predicted Pac and Phoenix. I'm going to like to see that. I'm really surprised what they're doing with Jungle Boy. I really am surprised at the big push they're giving Jungle Boy at other people's expense. Again, Double or Nothing, May 30th. Going to be a big pay-per-view event. Their flagship event on Double or Nothing at Daly's Place. It's already been announced. No matter what happens with COVID and the pandemic and opening up and mask mandates, May 30th, the pay-per-view, Double or Nothing for AEW, will be held at Jacksonville and Daly's Place. They already announced it. Other different things that I talked about, again, Omega and Moxley, I think for what it was, the match itself, until the ending, which is the obvious, get your heads out of your ass, I think it was a pretty solid match. Now, I might have liked the first one better at the initial event, but listen, for what it was entertaining, and yeah, the ending was a disappointment. I'll give it to you. Disappointed in MJF and the Inner Circle and Jericho. I already told you that. The Young Bucks, tag team champions. Let's see, Pac and Phoenix. Let's see. I want to see some more challengers for the Young Bucks if they're holding on to the titles. Ladder match, again, was great. This is what I wanted to talk about, too, before we get out of here. Again, don't shit all over the pay-per-view. It was pretty good. But what I do want to talk about before we get out of here, because I had some notes here on Chaos Corner. I did cover everything. But today, Monday, 50 years ago today at Madison Square Garden was Ali and Frazier, where Frazier won by decision on all 3 cards on closed circuit TV. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that I consider that to be one believable memory. 50 years ago today, for this day in history, the great Muhammad Ali and Smokin' Joe Frazier, and Frazier beat Ali on all 3 cards at Madison Square Garden. What a trilogy those 3 had. Those 3. All right, I'll say it here at the end of the show. Like Bully Ray said, multi-time Hall of Famer from TNA and WWE, perhaps the greatest tag team wrestler ever. Give the Guardian of Chaos 7 spots, he'll fuck up 6 of them. He said that to me on at least a couple of occasions. I don't know, 20 plus years ago. I consider that to be a compliment coming from the Guardian of Chaos. So this date in history, 50 years ago, Madison Square Garden, Ali and Frazier. Let me one different thing here. Jericho said, and I want to end the show with this, Chaos Corner show number 44, live to tape with the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. You don't want to turn into TNA with all the WWE guys. You got to put over and give the rub. Vets are there to build up the younger talent. Chris Jericho said that, and I agree, and that's what I've been saying. We're an hour and a half in. Don't you dare miss it. I'll be back for Chaos Corner. AEW Revolution.